If it's Tuesday, it must be the Champions League. And tonight we are in Munich. Bayern Munich have not had the best of seasons. Thomas Tuchel will be leaving at the end of the season. Harry Kane might end up trophyless. They've got it all to do tonight to try and protect their Champions League status against a Lazio team that will be determined to try to knock them off their perch, especially if it means the prospect of a tasty Spurs versus Arsenal clash between Harry Kane and Eric Dyer against Matteo Guendouzi. This is the Champions League right here on the Coach's Corner, and as always, to all of you, you are welcome. Yes, people. Well, as always, welcome to the corner, and the title says it all. Bayern Munich versus SS Lazio, live from the Allianz Arena in Munich, in Germany. Bavaria's finest, up against one of Rome's, you might say, lesser clubs, but certainly not in the eyes of Lazio's fans. The Roma-Lazio derby is always one to die for. And of course, first half action from the Allianz Arena will be coming up. Of course, the status is that Lazio currently lead Bayern after beating them 1-0 in the first leg in Rome. So Bayern have it all to do to make sure they overturn that deficit and try and qualify. If Lazio hold Bayern to a draw, then they will go through. If Lazio lose by a goal, of course, the away goals rule no longer applies. So Bayern can still win 4-3, and the game will, of course, end up going to penalties if it isn't really settled by extra time. And at the same time, we will also provide you updates on the Real Sociedad against Paris Saint-Germain clash. That's going to be taking place in San Sebastian. Can Kieran Tierney help his team overcome a 2-goal deficit and knock the Parisians out of the competition? We will find out. But of course, our attention is on the Allianz Arena and Bayern Munich struggle to try and regain a little bit of respect, which they've lost in recent times. And of course, they are, as we speak, 10 points behind Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga. And it will be an almighty crash if Bayern end up winning. I know that Tuchel was able to help them win last season, but Dortmund choked, it has to be said. You cannot see this Leverkusen team choking on such a big lead. Although stranger things have happened. And in Granit Xhaka, we have someone, they have someone who is well versed in choking on big leads. I had to say that, even though I am an Arsenal fan. Now, of course, I am going to share the team news, and we will be going to the Allianz Arena in a few minutes. But of course, thanks to our good friends on BBC Sport, we've got the team news from Bayern right now. Tuchel looks to be playing a 4-2-3-1, as he always does. Dayot Upamecano is suspended after that ridiculous foul he committed, which also resulted in Lazio scoring that penalty. So, as always, it is the German legend, Manuel Neuer, in goal. We probably won't see him in action for Germany in the Euros, with Ter Stegen having taken his place, but he is still proving to be a more than capable goalkeeper. Joshua Kimmich at right back, and Rafael Guerreiro at left back, with Matthias de Ligt and Eric Dyer in the centre. Eric really is Dyer, and why Tuchel thought he could sign him and really get the best out of him, how, I will never know. The defensive midfielders are Alexander Pavlovic and Leon Goretzka. A big game expected from him tonight. Leroy Sané, Thomas Muller, and Jamal Musiala, of course, will be the three-man attacking midfield. Muller, of course, is a prolific striker in his own right, but they will be playing second fiddle to Harry Kane up top. Min-Jae Kim is on the bench tonight, as is former Arsenal starlet Serge Gnabry, along with Eric Choupo-Moting and several others. And Min-Jae Kim obviously was a big part in was a big factor in ensuring that Bayern Munich didn't concede more goals to Lazio. Not too sure why he'd be on the bench tonight. Maybe it's a case of resting him for the Bundesliga games ahead. I don't know, but a lot will rest on Eric Dyer and Matthias de Ligt tonight. And as for the Lazio team, it's a 4-3-3 with Ivan Provedel in goal, and the right back will be Adam Marusic. Mario Gila and Alessio Romagnoli, Italian international, are the centre-backs, with Luca Pellegrini, the left-back. Matteo Guendouzi, Matthias Vecino, and Romero Alconchel, Luis Alberto Alconchel will be the midfielders. And up front, you've got Felipe Anderson and Matteo Zaccagni supporting Ciro Immobile, the captain and goal scorer from the first leg, who is clearly anything but immobile. And I know that's not how it's pronounced in Italian. It's Immobile, but I had to get that little joke in. And names on the bench include El Said Hisaj and Fabio Ruggeri and Luca Napolitano. Some of these players should get to come on later on in the game, and we will see how it pans out. And the teams are now walking out onto the Allianz Arena. I wonder if I'll be able to mute my screen so that we can hear the Champions League music. You will seldom hear a more iconic theme tune than the Champions League anthem. And I think a lot of people will agree with me that the Europa League and Conference League anthems are quite frankly depressing in nature. Just preparing a banner here. Another reminder, of course, that Bayern trail Lazio 1-0 after the first leg, so they need a convincing win tonight. I've already given you the team news. The team news is, of course, being confirmed. In Namen der Stadt is the motto. I know I am studying German, but I'm going to have to make sure I sort of get what that means. Hold on a minute, please. Of course, in Namen der Stadt, in the name of the city. So this is for a city, for the region of Bavaria. We see the captains, Neuer and Immobile, coming up, exchanging pennants. And Slavko Vincic is the referee tonight from Slovenia, with Klančnik, Kovacic, the assistant referees. Kachazovic and Obrenovic are the VAR officials. Looks as though it'll be an all Slovakian affair, I think. And confirmation, of course, of the Lazio lineup: Provedel in goal, Pellegrini left back, Maricic right back, Romagnoli and Gila are the centre backs, Guendouzi, Vecino, and Luis Alberto are the midfielders, Zaccagni and Felipe Anderson alongside Ciro Immobile. Provedel, of course, famously scored a goal in the group stages in stoppage time for Lazio, which proved to be quite crucial to their progress to the knockout stages. I wonder if his heroics will be required this time around. And yeah, we got some live viewers. Do please put your comments down. The ticker's up. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Kickoff is has just started. Lazio are attacking from left to right, and they get the game started, and a rather nondescript kickoff resulting in a goal kick to Bayern Munich. And we will be on our way. So Manuel Neuer to retrieve the ball and almost effectively get it on the way. Well, apparently it's going to be a short goal kick taken by one of the defenders. I think that was Dyer who took that kick. It is, in fact, Eric Dyer who receives the back pass from Rafael Guerreiro. It's now with the other centre-back, Matthias de Ligt, former Ajax starlet under Erik ten Hag. Still a Dutch international, of course. And he gets the ball back from Eric Dyer and passes it forward. Guerrero along the wing trying to find an attacker, but is cut away. And can Lazio clear their lines? Yes, they can. Vecino helping to clear it up. But Bayern do get it back. And they can try and move forward. I believe that is Musiala who looks to have the ball now. It's in the penalty area for Lazio. And it needs a header. It is back with Guerrero, who tries to send it into the penalty area, but Lazio can clear their lines. And eventually it is the number 7, Felipe Anderson now with the ball. He passes it into the middle, hoping to find Ciro Immobile, but Eric Dyer cleans up and passes it back to Manuel Neuer. Immobile wearing the number 17 tonight. Goretzka. Dyer, who sends it forward, was used as more of a defensive midfielder by the England national team under both Hodgson and Southgate, but nowadays very much used as a centre-back for Tottenham under different managers, and more recently under Ange Postecoglou. And here he is now with the ball. It is now with, looks like de Ligt, passes it back to Dyer, he sends it forward, back with Dyer. He's got Goretzka on his left, and he passes it to Goretzka. And Goretzka finds Guerrero, who lays a slip pass through, hoping to find Musiala, but it's cut out for a Bayern throw. Goretzka now finds de Ligt. And some action there on the right, and Bayern do win a throw. Do please get some comments rolling in, guys. I'll check them as soon as I can, I promise you. Dyer. de Ligt. Guerrero seems to be... actually, it's Kimmich who seems to be eager to overlap on the right. Kimmich is normally a midfielder, but he's playing as a right-back tonight. I wonder if... Tuchel wants him to overlap, and Bayern very nearly lose the ball, but this time around they're able to get organised. I am surprised that Min-Jae Kim isn't starting tonight, but so far Eric Dyer hasn't put a foot wrong. Neither has Matthias de Ligt. And Goretzka now trying to play it down the field, hoping to find his teammate, and he does. This is Kimmich, who sends it into the penalty area, but headed away by the Lazio number 15. Not number 15, it's someone else. It was number 5, Vecino, who headed away. But Goretzka eventually finds Musiala, who, of course, scored that dramatic winner last season to ensure that Bayern won the Bundesliga. And I believe that was against, in a moment of poor professionalism, I don't seem to remember who that team was, but I will, of course, look it up. And that's why we've got Wikipedia on our fingertips, you see. Musiala, of course, tipped by several people to win the Ballon d'Or. Might need a lot to do. And it was against, I was thinking it was FC Cologne, and it was against FC Cologne that Musiala scored that goal. A goal which clinched Munich's 11th consecutive league title. And he was Bayern's second top scorer in the league with 12 goals behind Gnabry, who is on the bench tonight. But it looks as though Bayern's streak of winning the Bundesliga for 11 consecutive seasons will be over this season. Vecino with a rather unorthodox pass, uncontrolled really, up in the air. Luis Alberto was able to control that. Immobile, Guendouzi, who seems to have found a new lease of life at Lazio. Felipe Anderson receiving it from Maricic. Maricic up against Guerrero. Actually, and Felipe Anderson up against Guerrero, and Guendouzi with an ambitious shot, but that was always going to go wide. And Guendouzi also still very much a French international, even if he's been in and out of the national team of late. Guerrero passing it back to Dyer. Back with de Ligt. who sends it across to Leon Goretzka. He has to be careful because he had someone bearing down on him. It's Musiala who gets the ball. He's able to find, I think that's Muller. And shot in the penalty area. I believe that was not the best of shots, really, to be taken. I think that was Leroy Sané who took that shot. And definitely not his best effort. Not at all troubling Ivan Provedel in the Lazio goal. And Immobile being double-teamed, but finds Guendouzi with acres of space ahead of him. Finds Felipe Anderson on the right wing. Passing it back to Guendouzi. Can he take another shot on goal again? No, he passes it into the penalty area. It is with Luis Alberto. And that should be out for, I thought it was a corner, but it ends up being a Lazio throw. But this is good stuff from Lazio, being very effective on the counter. And of course, Bayern Munich being behind will need to attack and make sure they score, give themselves a few chances. And we see some comments coming in, and I will make sure that I get to you. I promise you. Guendouzi receiving the throw and passing it into the penalty area, but that is pretty much cleared. De Ligt there on defensive duty, and Eric Dyer now can find a pass. And it's really interesting to see Dyer with those long passes. Not unlike a certain Jorge Frello playing for Arsenal. Sané in the penalty area, passes it to Musiala, but well defended by a combination of, let me find that out. It was Gila and Romagnoli, I think. Sané bursting into the penalty area, but it was in fact Gila and Romagnoli, the twin towers at the back in the center, making sure that was going out for a Bayern corner. So it's Kimmich and Guerrero who are standing over it. Guerrero left-footed, Kimmich right-footed. Who will be taking it? I think a little bit of a dummy there. It looks as though Kimmich might end up taking it, possibly trying to swing this away, hoping to find the likes of Sané or even... It is, in fact, Kimmich who's taken it. It's headed down, and that should be going wide for a Lazio goal kick. So, time for me to get into some comments. Mr. B, Hyper Football, big up to you, mate. Hanno is not joining me. I think he's a bit busy right now, but he is organising some streams, and I am, of course, taking responsibility. Spencer, good evening to you, mate. Nice to see you very much again. BX Gunner in the building. Lazio, of course, having that loss to Milan at the weekend, we saw 3 players, including Guendouzi, sent off. Could that hurt Bayern? We will see. Guendouzi is, of course, one of those playing tonight, and it will remain to see if he is determined to try and knock them off. Of course, the prospect of Guendouzi knocking out Kane and Dyer will be something I am looking forward to. Mr. B, currently watching Ipswich against Bristol. We'll be watching the Champions League very soon. Do keep an eye, if you can, on Real Sociedad against PSG, because Tierney's playing in that. I do hope that they can knock those arrogant Parisians out. It would be nice to end Kylian Mbappe's Champions League career. I'm not too sure that could happen. Guendouzi, a great mate of Mopé. I remember that all too well. How much does Neuer still have in the tank? Probably quite a bit. We will see. As I said, BX Gunner, I don't think he's going to make the Germany squad for the Euros. Nagelsmann has pretty much told him that he's not in the picture. But stranger things have happened. Dyer got an elder brother called Danny. Danny Dyer. I think you're meaning Danny Dwyer. So should that almost pull one back? Well, there is, in fact, an update. Thanks a lot, BX Gunner. I'm going to sort of try and get to that if I can. And at the moment, though, Lazio are on the attack in the Bayern penalty area. And I believe that's Luis Alberto who tries a shot, but it's blocked. It is with Felipe Anderson now, who passes it to Guendouzi. Back to Anderson. And Bayern at the moment doing a pretty good job in... Well, they were doing a good job in restricting Lazio until that rather needless barge. And we will, in fact, take a little bit of a break. But let me take a look at an update on that score as promised. And BX Gunner, thank you very much indeed. There is a stoppage in play while Lazio prepare for the free kick. And, well, there is... Well, I mean, the first chance, of course, was with Mbappe, but the shot was over the top. And Hamari Traore of Sociedad suffering a possible shoulder injury. Free kick taken into the penalty area, but easily headed away. The danger's not over. Vitinho left that for Immobile. It is Vitinho now up against Kimmich, but Kimmich holds him off, and that will be a corner. And so, well, obviously no goals to report from San Sebastian, but thank you very much indeed for reminding me of that, BX Gunner. I will try and keep you updated on everything that happens. Obviously, you know, there is no link to the Sociedad PSG game on BBC Sport. Thank you very much indeed for nothing, but obviously I've got the BBC ticker on, and that will keep me updated. Corner to be taken by Luis Alberto. Into the penalty area, but headed away. I believe that was Guerrero who did the work there. Or was that Muller? I'm not too sure. Once again, some head tennis going on, and Lazio do get the ball, and Lazio is starting to look dangerous. An important invention there, a hooked one from Eric Dyer, because I believe there was a Lazio player bearing down on Manuel Neuer. Had he received that ball, it would have been, you know, 1-0 Lazio on the night. At the moment, as things stand, it is still Bayern 0, Lazio 0. No ifs, no buts, no walnuts. PSG already looked too strong. Sad to see. But you never know. Upsets can happen. As you said, BX Gun, and they very nearly did get a goal back. It is Musiala who sends it. Actually, that's not Musiala. That's the number 45, Pavlovic, who sends it up front. Goretzka. De Ligt. Finds Guerrero, Kimmich rather, on the right. Guerrero's on the left. I keep forgetting that. Back to Eric Dyer. Goretzka finding Guerrero on the left. Yep. Harry Kane now retrieves the ball and hoping to find a pass, but inadvertently ends up winning a corner. Harry Kane, of course, wearing the number 9 shirt that was famously worn by a certain Robert Lewandowski. Has scored goals for fun this season, but could end up trophyless. It's all about the silverware, baby, as I keep reminding certain Arsenal fans. Once again, Kimmich and Guerrero over that. It will be Kimmich to try and swing it in, hoping to possibly find the head of Harry Kane, maybe. Short corner to Musiala. Pop outside the area, but decent save by Providel. Nice height for the goalkeeper, and he was able to get that, really. But the danger's not over for Lazio. No, it's not at all. Leroy Sané doing some enterprising work, but that shot was anything but enterprising. All the way over the bar. But hitting that sweetly, right on target, but never really had enough bend or height to give Providel any trouble. Decent save from the Italian international, just fisting it away. Maricic up against Musiala. Musiala wins that battle. Eric Dyer. Matthias de Ligt. Kimmich. Back to de Ligt. Dyer. And it looks as though Goretzka's moved into the position of third centre-back so that Guerrero can assume the wing-back position. But Goretzka can certainly find a pass, as can Kimmich, who has the ball right now. It is with Harry Kane, but he's up against Romagnoli, and Romagnoli wins that battle easily. But Bayern do still have the ball back. And a quarter for now gone, still 0-0 at the Allianz Arena. And Guerrero, Pavlovic, sending it across the field to Kimmich. Pavlovic gets it and possibly might want to find Goretzka, which he does, sends it to Guerrero. Musiala already looking a little bit dangerous. It is with Musiala in the penalty area. Laid off for Guerrero. And the cross in the penalty area wasn't able to find the teammate. But Bayern could easily retrieve the ball. Practically every one of the Lazio outfielders was in or around the penalty area for that. Already Bayern looking to try to dominate, and they now see that there's no way that they can hope to win by playing a counter-attacking game. An interesting team lineup by Thomas Tuchel tonight. Going to see if it pays dividends. Kane! Well, he had to try and shoot, and they're claiming a corner, so it looks as though it was a good save from Provedel. Sané to Kane, giving space for himself, and actually that came off Gila, the central defender. Provedel wasn't able to get a hand to that, and it was that deflection which probably saved him in a way, because Provedel was scrambling, as we would say. And we've got an update, of course, thanks to Spencer, 1-0 PSG. We'll find out who scored. I'm guessing it's Mbappe. And BX Gunner confirms it. So it looks as though Mbappe's final season with PSG will see him go a little bit further in the Champions League, because Sociedad are 3-0 down on aggregate at San Sebastian. I think it's fair to say that Hanno's picked the better game to do a watch-along for tonight. Corner, Kimmich again, high, headed away by Lazio. I believe that was De Ligt who tried to head it further, but it is with Sané. Good movement. Can he find a player? No, he can't. Not the best pass from him. Had that pass been more incisive, Lazio could have been in trouble. Spencer Stewart confirming that. Thank you, mate. Goretzka. De Ligt. And that is with Kimmich again. Pavlovic was coming up for support. Instead, it is De Ligt who finds Dyer. De Ligt. Kimmich again. Back to De Ligt. Bayern Munich obviously taking their time. Dyer sending it forward, hoping to find Kimmich. It is with Muller who heads it. And it ends up being a Lazio throw. I believe he was claiming that Vitinho was impeding him in a way. And we'll see who takes the throw. It is, in fact, Luca Pellegrini who takes it. I believe he was the one, actually, who was jumping up with Muller for that. My bad. And that will be a Lazio free kick. Bayern just trying a bit too much and unable to really get to grips with Lazio's movement. The number 20, Zaccagni, getting to grips with Bayern's wide players. Matthias Zaccagni. Coming into the 20th minute, still no goals yet. I mean, I was supposed to be providing you updates from the Sociedad PSG game, but it looks as though you're doing that for me. So to both BX Gunner and Spencer, thank you both very much indeed. And to anyone else who might be doing it. And it is with Maricic now, who can try and go forward. Instead, he passes it back to Guendouzi, who sends it forward. Maricic overlapping, but Dyer cutting that out. I have to give credit to Eric. He's not looked so dire tonight. In fact, he's looked rather tidy. Maricic with the throw, easily cut out. It is with Musiala now, who has to try to start the process of getting it away. Finds Harry Kane, who finds Muller with a pass. And now it is with Leroy Sané, who can try and attack down the right. He's got Kimmich for support. And Goretzka was ball watching there. That was supposed to be for him. There was no way Guerrero was going to get that, and that's just poor. And nowhere near as poor as that from Harry Kane, who tugs back Felipe Anderson and concedes a free kick. And clearly, Harry Kane is feeling the pressure. And Mbappe put him on skates. VAR looking at this, and it was confirmed eventually. Interesting question here. How do you rate Kvaratskhelia, Vini Jr. and Mbappe trophies aside? I would say that Vinicius Jr. and Mbappe are obviously very skillful players. We all saw Mbappe at his best during the recent World Cup. And, they're both exceptionally skillful players. And we know that they're going to be in the running for the Ballon d'Or this year and certainly in the years to come. And Kvaratskhelia, if he can continue to play well, maybe at a new club if things don't go too well where he is, he's also on the rise, no doubt about it. Gila, the number 34, to his partner, Romagnoli. Now it's with Vitinho trying to go forward. Short passes, just trying to throw off the Bayern attackers. And it is with Luis Alberto, who will try and move it forward. Zaccagni back to Romagnoli. Immobile and Pellegrini's come up forward. Vitinho is in support, of course. Marisic. Through to Felipe Anderson from Vitinho. Back to Vitinho, but he had his pocket picked by Pavlovic, and Pavlovic was impeded. Free kick. Eric Dyer. Dirk. It was certainly a delight for Ajax while he was there. He was even captain of the side. Guerrero, Goretzka. So it's clear that Bayern Munich have moved to a back three. Could very well be a 3-5-2 from the looks of it. Or maybe even a 3-4-3 with... That'll probably be a 3-5-2. I think Muller fancies his chances as more of a striker. Dyer. Pavlovic. Sends it forward to Kimmich, who can run. Zaccagni seems to have him controlled, though, but eventually finds Sané with a pass. It's now with Goretzka. Back with Goretzka from Pavlovic. Sané. Pavlovic. Pavlovic up and over. Finds Muller in the penalty area. Pass to Musiala. Guerrero! And Marisic there with some very important defending. And that's how good the Bayern can be. Some short, simple passes there. Pavlovic starting it off. Kimmich continuing. Muller laying it off for Musiala, but I think Musiala overran that. And when Guerrero had his chance to shoot, Marisic was there to sort of block his entry. But Bayern still have the ball, and they are starting to look a little bit dangerous. Very nearly intercepted, though, by Lazio, but Bayern still have the ball, and this time Lazio win the ball back, but then so do Bayern. And a needless clip there, and that will be a free kick. Felipe Anderson getting his timing all wrong and clipping Guerrero as he was about to move with the ball. Yep. Not a very nice looking clip, that has to be said. Goretzka. Guerrero. Guendouzi heading that, but eventually Pavlovic gets it, and it is back with Goretzka. Pavlovic, despite Immobile's best efforts. Now Kimmich on the far side, the far right. Into the penalty area, left-footed, but Provedel catches that quite easily. And I'm not too sure why Muller's got his hand raised. And we're coming up to 25 minutes. It is still Bayern Munich 0, Lazio 0. And at halftime, we will obviously be watching updates from San Sebastian, and I will describe that goal to some of you who were not able to watch that. And tricky ball that, but Pavlovic did well to win that, but he did not do well with that pass. And Lazio can try and break. It is Luis Alberto, the number 10. He's got Pellegrini now overlapping down the left. But finds Immobile, but clearly Bayern have done their defensive homework tonight, and it looks as though Min-Jae Kim has not been missed yet. Pellegrini. Back with Pellegrini, and obviously Luis Alberto trying to run the strings. Pull the strings, I should say. Immobile to Maricic. Felipe Anderson. Back with Immobile, the skipper. Matteo Guendouzi. Vecino sending it into the penalty area, but nobody on the end of that. And Kimmich doing the right thing by letting it go to his now, at present, former international teammate. And an Asian fan in the stands, a bit disappointed to see Min-Jae Kim not in the lineup. And some updates from Mr. B. Leicester currently up 1-0 and Coventry City 4-0 up. I believe Coventry is still smarting from that playoff defeat, and they're certainly one team in the hunt to get into the playoffs. I believe Leicester and Ipswich might have the top two positions sealed, but Leeds are also fighting hard. You just never know in the Championship. And a free kick to Lazio. Another Bayern, a promising Bayern move in vain. Yeah, we will, of course, provide you descriptions of the Kylian Mbappe goal at half-time, but from the BBC Sports viewpoint, it was a typical genius move, an absolute stunner. And, of course, Tierney is not in the starting lineup for Sociedad tonight, but Martin Zubimendi is, among others, along with Mikel Oyarzabal and others. It was Zubeldia, the central defender, that was pretty much left for dead by Mbappe. And another threatening attack by Lazio, but so far Neuer has not really had to make a save. Some excellent counter-attacking runs from Lazio. Zaccagni and Luis Alberto very much in the thick of it. It is with Luis Alberto now, who finds Felipe Anderson. But so far, Bayern's defense has done their homework, and they pretty much shut Lazio out tonight. But Bayern need goals. They need goals. And where are they going to get it from? Pellegrini to Luis Alberto. Back to Pellegrini. Romagnoli. A back pass to Provedel, his goalkeeper. Maricic. And Thomas Tuchel, of course, looking on. His days as Bayern Munich manager, of course, numbered. He will leave at the end of the season. The big question is, where will he go next? His stock was quite high after helping Chelsea win the Champions League, the European Super Cup and the Club World Cup, that famous treble. Maybe not famous, but certainly coveted. But since then, aside from a solitary Bundesliga title with Bayern Munich, has had nothing much to shout about. Luis Alberto receiving it back, but some pretty poor play there, and that will be a Bayern Munich throw. Sané starting to find a little bit more space, looking a little bit dangerous, and Lazio know that they cannot afford to relax and let Bayern come in. So far, defensively, Lazio have been good, but Provedel has had to make one or two saves. Neuer, on the other hand, by comparison, can pretty much sit on the sofa with his pipe and slippers and try and watch Munich start an attack through Guerrero. Pass back from Muller. Goretzka. Pavlovic. De Ligt to Dyer with Kimmich on the far right. Goretzka. Muller. And that should be a free kick. Felipe Anderson impeding him and sending him to the floor. And we've just clocked half an hour. In fact, it's 30 seconds after the half hour. Still no goals at the Allianz Arena to report. Bayern Munich do have a free kick, and I think they've got to be a little bit patient and try and grind Lazio down. And of course, I am on standby to take this through to the end of extra time and penalties should the need arise. Hopefully it won't. Kimmich once again with the free kick into the penalty area. Far too low, and I believe there was an infringement, and that will be a free kick. Looks as though it's an offside. No, not an offside. We would have seen the linesman. I believe there was an infringement in the penalty area. Gila to Maricic, the right back, number 77. Easily cut off, but not very convincingly, and that will be a throw in for Lazio. Guerrero on defensive duty for once. Maricic takes the throw, but Immobile with a wild hook out, and that will be a Bayern throw. Dyer. De Ligt. So it's DDG in the back four. De Ligt, Dyer, and Goretzka. Back three, I should say. De Ligt finding Kimmich, who's being forced back at the moment. Dyer. De Ligt. Hoping to find Kimmich again. And he does find Kimmich, but Kimmich once again being forced back. Kimmich does find a through pass, though. It is with Muller, who can run. Finds a pass, and the referee intercepts that. And the referee holds his hand up. I believe he slipped on that, and that probably will be a drop ball. And we're going to see how this plays out. Yeah, certainly not deliberate from the referee. The poor fellow slipped. Muller obviously not happy, but Slavko Vincic there apologetic, and not even Tuchel is prepared to see the funny side of that. In any case, Bayern Munich have the ball, and I wonder if that, well, not the best header. Musiala intercepts. Muller. Guerrero now. Can he get into the penalty area? It is intercepted once again, and Maricic once again doing some important defensive work, stopping Guerrero from having a real effect. But once again, it is Joshua Kimmich with the corner. And once again, it is Rafael Guerrero running up to be by his side. The flags are waving, including the pride flag, which is wonderful to see. Kimmich with the corner into the penalty area. Pushed out by Provedel. The danger's still not over. De Ligt against Guendouzi, and De Ligt holds off Guendouzi expertly and ensures that Bayern get the throw. Short throw by De Ligt, and it is now with Musiala from Pavlovic, I believe. It is back with Pavlovic right now. De Ligt is, well, actually, I think it's Kimmich now. De Ligt was forward, but I think he's gone back into the penalty area, and Dyer with a header there. I think it's fair to say that the header was, in fact, Dyer from Eric, because instead of trying to head it down, he just glanced at it, really. And it was always going over. Never going to trouble Ivan Provedel, but he was in trouble from the corner, though. And Leeds 1-0 up. Thanks for the championship updates, Mr. B. And Musiala threatening to go forward, but this time Gila cutting him off. Muller, the number 25. He wears number 13 for Germany, of course. A tribute to the great, iconic Gerd Muller, of course. Kimmich. And some great work from Leroy Sané, but That pass not really finding everyone, pretty much splitting the defense and attack in two and going behind for a Lazio goal kick. And so 35 minutes and 30 seconds gone, 9.5 minutes plus stoppage time left at the end of the first half, and it is still Bayern Munich 0, Lazio 0. And obviously, I know that a lot of you have got your eye on what's happening in San Sebastian. I will, of course, refresh that. Still 1-0 to PSG, 3-0 on aggregate. And as things stand, they are going through. But remember, the away goals rule no longer applies. So if Real Sociedad do score 3 goals, well, we very nearly had a Lazio goal there from Ciro Immobile. Some great work into the penalty area. Immobile was there, getting in behind Eric Dyer. It actually was a pretty poor back header there from De Ligt, which effectively assisted Immobile. But with Neuer pretty much scrambling at his near post, Immobile had the near post at his mercy, and he just headed it wide. Bayern Munich have been warned. And now they'll come back with a vengeance. You just wait and watch. Leroy Sané running tirelessly with the ball. Finds Goretzka. That was, I believe, Musiala. And Kimmich now has the ball. Looks as though that's Pavlovic to me, who was on the right, passing it to Goretzka in the middle. Rafael Guerreiro. Goretzka. De Ligt. Sané. Back to Sané from Musiala. Running past Guendouzi. Cute little back heel, but Kane was unaware of that. Still in the penalty area, though. Musiala trying to make things happen. Guerreiro. Back to Sané. Goretzka now, and they're going to have to do it all over again, Bayern. De Ligt, can he take a putt from distance? No, it's blocked. And Felipe Anderson hacks it clear. Only as far as De Ligt, though, who holds off Immobile. Finds Kimmich. Pavlovic. Goretzka to Guerreiro. Kane passing it out of the penalty area to Pavlovic. Sends it back into the penalty area, hoping to find a head. And just like that, Bayern Munich are 1-0 up. Rah, rah, Rasputin. Bayern has their goal machine. He's Harry Kane. And he's going to score. Well, you just knew that it was coming. Bayern Munich were not going to stay quiet for very long. They were always going to try and make sure something would happen. Guerreiro has certainly been a live wire down the left. Short passing doing the trick, really. Pavlovic also playing his role. Muller with that header. Guerreiro with what was which ended up being a miss-hit assist. Kane with the header. And I think you have to say that Ivan Provedel should have done better with that, effectively palming it into his own net. So, Provedel getting hands to that, but not able to stop that from going in. And with Harry Kane's goal on 38 minutes, or is it 39, it is Bayern Munich 1, Lazio 0, 1-1 on aggregate. And we've got a game on our hands, and what a time to score. Barely 5 or 6 minutes before half-time. Can Bayern get a second? Musiala down the touchline, keeps it in play brilliantly. Harry Kane now. Blocked by Alberto, but rides through him. Leroy Sané now. Zaccagni coming back, but Kane passing it now to Goretzka. Finds Pavlovic, one of the architects of that goal. Kimmich, another architect. Muller, yet another one. Leroy Sané in the penalty area. Musiala! And it's just wide. It's all happening out there at the Allianz Arena. Bayern are ripping Lazio apart right now. And Lazio need to take a breather. 40 minutes gone. It is Bayern Munich 1, Lazio 0. 1-1 on aggregate. And boy, do we have a game on our hands, people. Yep, Kane on 38 minutes, and a few dignitaries in the stands. At least they'll be happy knowing that Bayern are on level terms. If they get at least one more goal, they should be through. But Lazio are no pushovers, quite strong on the counter-attack, as we've seen. And if they get in behind that defence, Lord have mercy. And they have a chance now. It is Guendouzi who finally receives the ball, but I'm not too sure what he was trying to do there. Good work from Zaccagni, Felipe Anderson, and others involved. But I'm not too sure what Guendouzi was trying to do. Was he trying to cross it? Was he trying to shoot? Caught in two minds. Ended up losing his own. And of course, that Rasputin song was a tribute to Kane that was used as England's song for the 2018 World Cup. And he did score. Golden Boot winner for that tournament. Goretzka. De Ligt. Dyer, who was also an important part of that World Cup squad. Maybe not important, probably didn't get too many minutes, but certainly played his part in the tournament. Kimmich. Certainly expected to play a role for Germany in this upcoming Euros. Sané sending it down to Muller. Muller with that pass. I'm not too sure why Muller's being used as more of a wide man. We all know his goal-scoring record, but that's what Tuchel wants him to do, apparently. Of course, it is fair to say that when Lewandowski was with Bayern, he was more often than not the lone goal scorer, but we all know that Muller is more than capable of scoring goals. Normally as a second striker, and it does look as though with a back three, it will be a 3-5. It is a 3-5-2 being played, so you can expect one of Sané, Muller, or even Musiala to help Keane when it comes to goal scoring. And a free kick to Lazio, and Bayern do not like that decision one bit. And apparently they're claiming that Sané should have received that free kick because he was fouled, but the Slovakian referee having none of that. Romagnoli. And a long pass back to Provedel. From another player, that is. Hoping to find Maricic. He does head it beyond Guerrero. Guendouzi now, but that is easily intercepted by Pavlovic, who's had a good game so far. Risky looking back pass to De Ligt, who gets it back to Neuer, but Neuer has the situation under control. One of the original sweeper keepers. Not original, but certainly one of the more popular sweeper keepers in world football today. And he was put under pressure by his counterpart as captain, Ciro Immobile, who, as I said, is anything but immobile. I do apologize for the stammer at times. It is what it is. Got one person watching, of course. Thank you very much indeed for joining in. Maricic receiving the ball back from Felipe Anderson. And Anderson somehow winning another throw. Maricic again, the number 77, with the throw. And he hoping to find Guendouzi, but that is headed away. But here's with Felipe Anderson now, who sends it into the penalty area. That is headed high into the air. And the danger still isn't cleared for Bayern, with Pellegrini passing that back. Romagnoli sending that forward. But that is headed away, I believe, by De Ligt. Still, Bayern can't clear their lines yet. Luis Alberto sending it to the left. Pellegrini trying to send it into the penalty area, but instead ends up sending it out for a goal kick. And Pellegrini claiming that should have been a corner from his protestations. Some dignitaries in the stand. The legendary Franz Beckenbauer, of course, not one of them. The German legend having passed away recently this year. And there will be 1 minute of stoppage time. A bit of a surprise, but so far the game has flowed reasonably well. Guerrero trying to send it forward, but Maricic cuts him off. And that will be a throw to Bayern. Goretzka. De Ligt sending it forward to Kimmich. And there was talk about how Zaccagni and others have been able to, Pellegrini and others have been able to nullify Kimmich. I'm not too sure that's really happened. Cross into the penalty area, but no one on the end of that. Headed back to Goretzka, though. And as long as Musiala's on the ball, you just know you cannot relax. Guerrero. And Maricic once again concedes a corner. Guerrero has looked to try and exert his influence down the left, but Maricic so far has had him covered, but at the cost of a few corners, it must be said. And this will probably be the last chance of the game before half-time. If Bayern score, then believe me, the momentum is well and truly in their favour. Kimmich once again with the corner. Right-footed, hoping to swing it in. Actually, it's left-footed. Guerrero took that. And just like that, Bayern have taken a 2-0 lead. And it is De Ligt with an absolutely delightful shot to send Bayern 2-0 up on aggregate and potentially have 1 foot in the semi-finals. Well, I did say that if Bayern scored, that would be a really good thing. And it was Guerrero, in fact, who shocked me with that goal. An absolutely brilliant volley. I'm pretty certain that Muller is onside. Wasn't interfering with play. Ducked out in time. Well, actually, that was Muller with the head there. So, well, I thought that was De Ligt. I mean, De Ligt was claiming the goal. Maybe he didn't see Muller use his head there. And I think there might be a VAR check to see if Thomas Muller is, in fact, onside, because it will remain to be seen if he was interfering with play. I believe, this could be tight. Well, there isn't a VAR check. As far as we can tell, the goal stands. And so I will update the score right now. And right at the end of the first half, Bayern Munich, with an absolute dagger to Lazio's hearts, they end up taking a 2-goal lead. You could say that these goals have been coming given the way Bayern have played, but Lazio can always pull a goal back and make things interesting. But for the moment, after 1 minute of stoppage time, which ended up becoming 2, half-time at the Allianz Arena, it is Bayern Munich 2, Lazio 0. And all I can say is that after that ending to the first half, I have got to catch my breath. And boy, do I need a drink of water. Not too sure I'll be getting people joining me in. And we will, of course, have a break. And I also want to check what's going on in San Sebastian. I will go to that right now. There are 4 minutes, in fact, of added time being played at San Sebastian. So I will bring you those minutes right now. 3 of which have already been played. There is 1 left, and Paris Saint-Germain on the attack. 1-0 up, 3-0 up on aggregate, of course. Achraf Hakimi with a throw. And Zaire Emery retrieves that, but it is ruled to have been taken out of play. So Javi Galan is, who is, of course, starting at left back tonight. I don't know if Tierney's in the squad. Tierney is in the squad, and he might possibly come on because the other left back, Ian Munoz, is also out with a long-term injury. Be interesting to see how well he does. And of course, Tierney's highlights in the Champions League campaign include nullifying Denzel Dumfries as Real Sociedad held Inter Milan to a draw and ended up qualifying as group winners at Inter Milan's expense. Inter Milan, of course, currently leading Atletico Madrid 1-0 on aggregate, and their tie, and that is a dreadful foul, and that will be a booking for Paris Saint-Germain. And it is, of course, an English referee in charge tonight, Mr. Michael Oliver. A yellow card there for Ousmane Dembele, who literally, disgracefully pulled down the Sociedad number 18, Hamari Traore, who, of course, we feared had picked up a shoulder injury, but ended up being fine to continue. And this will probably be the last chance of the half. into the penalty area, but headed away, and Michael Oliver blows the half-time whistle. And half-time at the at San Sebastian, it is, of course, Real Sociedad 0. Paris Saint-Germain 1. Kylian Mbappe on 15 minutes. Confirmation there. So obviously there's a break going on right now, and I will obviously need to take a little break, but I will be back in 120 seconds. I will see you all soon. Well, it was a little bit longer than 120 seconds, and I do apologize, but needed to get myself a nice long drink of water. And also I catch my breath. And I think I'll pretty much fill you in on what happened at halftime. Obviously, you know, instead of Joshua Kimmich, it was Rafael Guerreiro who surprised me and many others by taking the corner, swinging in. It was swinging away. It was headed out. De Ligt, of course, meeting that with an absolutely delightful volley, and it found its way into the net. Obviously, I thought that the Dutchman pretty much, you know, provided a moment of Dutch delight, but I was oblivious to the presence of Thomas Muller, a typical poacher's goal, really, as he met it with his head and headed it past Ivan Provedel. Now, the controversy was, of course, that if Muller had, in fact, let that go in, I'm pretty certain the goal would have counted, because although Muller might have been in an offside position, I don't believe he would have interfered with play. As it stands, though, when you take a look at the replays, it probably looks as though Muller was just onside, which is probably why the VAR crew chose not to get involved. And I believe the Lazio coaching staff were up in arms, claiming that that goal should never have been allowed. I don't know if the VAR team have done their job. They might possibly be looking over this, and maybe they might possibly realize that they made a terrible blunder. But, of course, where I am right now, the yeah, of course, got the studio show right now, obviously, and on the other channel, which was showing Sociedad against PSG, there was no studio show. But once again, highlights from the first half. Plenty of chances from Bayern. And sooner or later, I mean, we probably will see some of the goals anyway. And Bayern always were going to be threatening down the flanks. And I think the sudden transition into what looks like a 3-5-2 seems to have worked pretty well. It could very well be Muller and Kane playing up front as strikers, and that's what Muller has often done, being the second striker behind Robert Lewandowski and now Harry Kane. And we will now see updates, see highlights rather from the game in San Sebastian. A wonderful through pass into the penalty area. Mbappe receiving the ball, turning the central defender all ways to Sunday and firing it in to the far corner. Low and true, a typical striker's goal. Mbappe at his best. And the central defender there literally was left for dead. And the Sociedad goalkeeper pretty much had no chance, really. And that's 33 goals and 7 assists in 34 matches for the France captain, who will be leaving Paris Saint-Germain. Probably just as well that he leaves so that Paris Saint-Germain can move on from him and try and blood some new talent. And of course, he's also got the most Champions League goals and assists away from home since the 2017-18 season. Mohamed Salah behind him on 28, Robert Lewandowski on 24, and of course, the now semi-retired Cristiano Ronaldo on 21. So those are insane numbers, really. And when he joins Real Madrid next season, you can just tell that he will certainly continue to work his magic. The only question is, will Carlo Ancelotti stay there for a little bit longer? I know he signed a contract, but do contracts mean very much these days? Real Madrid should win the league this season because Girona starts to fade away. But the Champions League is where it's at for Real Madrid. Once again, confirmation of the score. Lazio did lead Bayern 1-0 after the first leg, but of course now that is immaterial as they are now 2-1 down on aggregate. And 45 minutes away from saying arrivederci to the competition, unless they can conjure up a few moments of magic. And it's just as well that Bayern do not have to consider playing Dayot Upamecano tonight. Conceding that penalty and getting sent off was the worst thing that could have happened to him and Bayern, really. And it's also got to be said that even if Bayern do go through, there is no guarantee that they will go further in this tournament with some really good teams to come against them in the quarterfinals. And also, it must be said, if Lazio do get a goal back and it finishes 2-1 at full time, we go into extra time and then penalties. I'm going to be up all night. Had myself a really big dinner after a really fine session at the gym. Working on chest with the bench and all sorts. But I just wonder if that food is going to put me to sleep. Any comments? Chelsea fan, big up. Can't stay tonight, my friend. Got work tomorrow. Came to say hi. Well, hello to you and thank you for joining in. As always, keep hitting the like button. Yes, do like the video. Subscribe if you're new. And you know the drill. Yes, you do. Some more irritating advertisements, and we will go back to the Allianz Arena very soon. But until then, you are pretty much in the company of me. And we've got 3 people watching tonight, so make yourselves known in the chat. Sadly, of course, you know, we only have subscriber mode turned on, but do please subscribe And once you subscribe, you can come in and have your say. Tell me if you like my commentary. Tell me if you like the channel. I hope you like the channel. Hanno's done some really good work on it, some brilliant work on it, and I'm happy to be assisting him in any way I can. He is, of course, busy at the moment with school work and exams, so he has kindly asked me to help him out, and I have said, of course, love working on this channel, really. And we've had some guests coming on. I was actually on Del Boy Gunner's call-in show prior to coming over here, and it was just as well that he ended the stream before I came on tonight. I think he probably wanted to settle down and watch some Champions League football himself. And I remember getting him on the show when we played Newcastle in midweek. An absolute romp that was against the Newcastle team that were ravaged by injuries, it must be said. And we are back at the Allianz Arena. The team's running out. Bayern, 45 minutes away from redemption. Lazio, 45 minutes away from leaving the competition. Unless they score, they could be out. But a Lazio goal will, of course, put the cat firmly amongst the pigeons. So if you are new and if you are here watching, I believe we do have some more people watching live. I'm really grateful to you. Do please sit back and enjoy my amateurish attempt at commentary as we get ready for the second half with Bayern Munich about to kick off, themselves now attacking from left to right. Whoops. Immobile looking on. He knows that got a job to do. A back pass to Manuel Neuer, who sends it forward. A rather long kick from the Germany legend. And Lazio trying to come forward through Felipe Anderson, but Bayern can cut that off. And some great work once again from Leroy Sané, who's certainly been a physical presence in this German team. Kimmich, who's now more in the center, surprisingly. And it's with De Ligt now, who tries to send it forward to Kimmich, who's being harried by Vicinho and, Pellegrini rather, and forced to pass back to De Ligt, who passes it back to Neuer. Pavlovic. And that is Goretzka, I believe. Yep, Goretzka. It is with Kimmich now. Once again, another pass back to Neuer. And Dyer sending that forward, but nobody on the end of that. But a rather dangerous back header, which Pellegrini has to deal with, and he ends up winning a throw off Harry Kane. And Pellegrini it is who takes the throw. No relation, of course, to the former Real Madrid and Manchester City manager Manuel Pellegrini, of course. De Ligt, rather. Dyer. Guerrero. Back to Dyer. Back to De Ligt. Hoping to find Kimmich, which he does, but Kimmich now being forced back by Zaccagni, and once again, another back pass to Manuel Neuer. Romagnoli rising above Kane to head that, but only to find Kimmich, who once again is now being harried by Zaccagni. De Ligt. Dyer. Goretzka. Neuer. Back to De Ligt. Kimmich. Sending it forward, but intercepted brilliantly. And Lazio started this half positively, knowing that they need to get a goal. But some good footwork there. And sadly, it's for Bayern, it's a free kick to Lazio. A needless challenge there. And there's a player down on the field. Looks in pain. It is Kane who's on the ground. Kimmich stepping on his foot there. Never nice when you got those studs going into your foot. Hurts like bilio. And yep, more cordialities. It was hey and bye, really. So free kick to Lazio. Luis Alberto into the penalty area. Nobody on the end of that. But Guendouzi and Marisic combining to get the ball back. Marisic to Pellegrini, who ends up making the long pass back all the way to Providel. And a dreadful pass from the goalkeeper. And Bayern Munich have possession of the ball and could do something with it now. Pavlovic. De Ligt. Well, in the end, they don't do very much with it yet. Back pass to Neuer. Back to De Ligt. Kimmich. De Ligt. Across to his twin defensive partner, Eric Dyer. Guerrero, who's back doing defensive duties. And that is Goretzka, who will try to take it forward. Harry Kane finding Kimmich on the right. And this looks more like it now for Bayern Munich, as far as they're concerned. Crossing to the penalty area, hoping to find someone. It is eventually Muller, hoping to find Harry Kane, but that high pass just wasn't able to fall kindly for him. It is now with Guerrero. Muller, who switched to the left. A deflection there, leading it to Luis Alberto. And Zaccagni trying to play it forward after that pass from Coutinho, and Pellegrini passes it back to Providel. And Lazio once again having to start from the back. It is Gila now, the central defender, who tries to be a little bit cute, really, holding off Harry Kane and sending it forward. And Bayern Munich now actually... well, it was thought that they'd won a throw, but in fact the throw is in favor of Lazio. So once again, it is Marisic who is about to take it. Hoping to find Immobile, but not being successful. Musiala heading it down. Kane back with Musiala. But Lazio win it back. Immobile. And Immobile wins the throw off Musiala. Immobile receiving the throw. And that pass is now sent from Felipe Anderson to Pellegrini, hoping to find Zaccagni, and he does. And Zaccagni up against Kimmich. Zaccagni has definitely held his own, but it kept Kimmich quiet so far. Kimmich has not really had too much of an influence, save for the last 120 seconds or so. Marisic now into the penalty area. Immobile! And they're appealing for a penalty, but the Slovakian referee, rather, is not interested in that. And Immobile is in pain. Ciro is temporarily immobile on the floor. And De Ligt over there was in the way. Certainly no challenge from De Ligt. You're not going to get a penalty for that in whichever level of competition you are in. And from San Sebastian, it is still Real Sociedad 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1, 3-0 on aggregate in favor of the Parisians. Interestingly enough, PSG have made a substitution with Kang-in Lee, one of Korea's heroes in the recent World Cup and also the Asia Cup, coming on for Bradley Barcola. But for the moment, our eyes are back on the Allianz Arena, and there is, of course, a long delay in play as Immobile receives some treatment. He's being taken off the pitch, so temporarily at least, Lazio are down to 10 men. Injury induced. Oh, man. And this might be a blow for Lazio if Immobile goes off. Just running around trying to get some mobility back. At the moment, Bayern Munich are now trying to move ahead. It is now with Pavlovic, who gets the ball from Goretzka. De Ligt tries to send it to Kimmich. Sends it back to De Ligt. And now they've got to try and attack through the other side. Pavlovic in the middle. Trying to send it forward. And Muller is there on the right now. Having a pretty good game, this German legend. And Guerrero is there to pick that up and prevent that from going for a goal kick. Musiala in the penalty area, up against 3. He can shoot, but he just can't hit the target. Bayern, however, do win a corner from the looks of it. Actually, they don't. Going around Guendouzi, they're getting a shot off. It might have actually gone off Guendouzi's boot, which is why Bayern were claiming a corner. And Musiala applauding the decision means that the corner was in fact given. So this time it is back to business with Kimmich taking the corner. Right-footed outswinger hoping to find a man, or will it be Guerrero taking it like he did for the... Nope, it's Kimmich swinging out, hoping to find a header, but the unmistakably long-haired Matteo Guendouzi heading that away and taking a bit of a knock in the process. And still some attempts by Bayern to try to forge an attack, but it is now with Luis Alberto, who receives the pass from Felipe Anderson. Zaccagni is on the left, looking really sharp indeed up against Kimmich and Sané. But some good defensive work there. I think that was from Pavlovic, which cut that out. Lazio still have the ball, though, and remember, one goal from Lazio will definitely put the cat amongst the pigeons. As things stand, it could send the game into extra time. And Neuer ends up retrieving that, passing that to Goretzka, to De Ligt, and once again, Neuer has to come out and clear that. He doesn't do that very well with Vitinho intercepting that, but Pavlovic is there to spare his goalkeeper's blushes. Guerrero, Musiala, some beautiful work. Kimmich now, drawn a bit far to the right, but he can still put a cross in. And sadly, no one on the end of that. And Zaccagni falling all over Pavlovic, really. But Lazio do have the ball, and the referee doesn't signal a foul for that. So it is Luis Alberto up against Matthias de Ligt. Sends it back to Pellegrini, passes it back to Alberto. And Alberto ends up giving it to Gila. Felipe Anderson on the right. Back to Gila. Romagnoli. Alberto finding what looks like Vitinho. It is with Zaccagni now. Immobile, who seems to have recovered from that knock. Pellegrini now up against Sané, and Sané forces a throw-in. Bayern Munich, of course, having topped their group with 16 points from their 6 games. Manchester United were in that group, bowing out of Europe altogether with their tails between their legs after a measly 4 points. But so far, Bayern have not had it easy in this tie, and I think they're grateful to be 2-1 up on aggregate. But with about 32 minutes to go, anything can happen. And this was, clearly that looked really... I mean, Zakanya there was climbing all over Pavlovic there and really sent him tumbling, but for some reason the referee wasn't willing to give that a foul. Wasn't to rule that a foul, it must be said. Even I struggle with my grammar at times. Kiewicz. I'm already starting to yawn. Please let this be over in 90 minutes, even if it means Bayern holding on to their 2-0 lead by the skin of their teeth. Harry Kane. Out to Guerrero, who can shoot. And unlike Musiala, he can't hit the target. Acres of space for Kane. Nobody marking Guerrero. And he needed to hit the target from there. No excuse. I think it's fair to say that Maricic probably put him off, but still, you've got to hit the target from that. And clearly, those young Bayern fans in the stands were not very happy with that. The third goal will pretty much calm all the nerves, though. Pavlovic. De Ligt. Kimmich. Back to De Ligt. Both essential defenders have got very similar hairstyles tonight. It is very hard to tell one from the other. I've got to depend on watching their shirt numbers. Goretzka. Guerrero. Back to Goretzka. Hoping to find Pavlovic, which he does. And Pavlovic hopes to find Kimmich, which he does. Sané now. Back to Kimmich. Pavlovic back in the center. Passing it to Goretzka, who tries to send it forward, and he does. It is with Musiala now. To Sané, but blocked by the Lazio defense. And through Felipe Anderson, they can try and move forward, and De Ligt is deemed to have obstructed him, and that will be a Lazio free kick as we tick onto the hour mark with half an hour to go. Time for some substitutions. There's a triple substitution from Lazio, and so I will tell you the players to come off. Apparently, Vitinho will be coming off to make way for number 32, Cataldi. Zakanya is also coming off, which is a bit of a surprise. He's being replaced by number 18, Gustav Isaacson. And skipper Immobile, I think it looks a little bit winded after that challenge. So he will be replaced by Valentin Castellanos, the number 19. So hopefully this triple substitution will, bring about some change in fortune. Castellanos wearing the name Tati on his back. And if you're a Scot, you'll know that Tati is your way of saying potato. Love me a good Tati scone whenever I can. I do apologize for that. I've got a mate who's from Glasgow, and if he were watching the stream right now, he'd be giving it to me with both barrels, eh? And another update. 2-0 PSG. No prizes for guessing who, and that is it. The tie is over. 4-0 on aggregate. There is no way that Sociedad are coming back from that. And at the other end, De Ligt having to do some really good work to stop Pellegrini from making a nuisance of himself, and Pellegrini wins the throw. And once again, Providel coming out of his area to deal with that. I'm not too sure why, although there was something I might have missed as I was typing everything. And Maricic now having to deal with everything, clean it up. Pass back to Providel, who passes it to Romagnoli. Luis Alberto. And it's the number 32, Cataldi, who has the captain's armband in place of Immobile. Interesting. Alberto to Cataldi. Castellanos, I should say. And trying to feed it through, but Neuer had it under control. And a rather needless push from behind there. Tati. I'm sorry. But you might have just left your team in tatters there. Confirmation of one of the substitutions. Vicinho off and Cataldi on. And Dyer passing it to De Ligt. De Ligt finding Joshua Kimmich. Pass back to Neuer. And finding Sané. That was De Ligt who found Sané. Pavlovic passing it back to De Ligt. Fine game tonight from Pavlovic, who has pretty much helped run the strings in that defensive midfield formation. And with the transition to a 3-5-2, he's really proven his worth. Making sure he had possession of the ball, finding good passes. Musiala to Kane now, from the looks of it. Yep. Kane back to Pavlovic. And this is something almost resembling a type of total football where the strikers are doubling as midfielders in a way. Kimmich now to Guerrero on the left. And is play being stopped? No, it isn't. I believe the Lazio player on the floor has recovered enough to continue. Guerrero to Goretzka. Dyer. Pavlovic. De Ligt. Trying to find Muller, but it was intercepted. But it is back with De Ligt, who will pass it back to Manuel Neuer. And of course, an update from San Sebastian, thanks to Spencer, of course. Mbappe with his second. Paris Saint-Germain 2-0 up, 4-0 on aggregate. All over by the shouting. Pavlovic. De Ligt. Dyer. And that is Goretzka who sends it forward, finding Guerrero. Musiala's gone forward. But he'll have to wait. Pavlovic trying to hold off Guendouzi, and he does. De Ligt trying to find Kimmich on the right, and he does. Finds Pavlovic. Cataldi was on him, but able to shake it off. Sané now into the penalty area. Can he shoot? Saved by Providel, and Harry Kane slots it in. 3-0 at the Allianz Arena, 3-1 on aggregate, and that has to be tie over, surely. And thanks to Kane, I should say, I'll be having an early night tonight. Rah, rah, Rasputin. Bayern has a goal machine. He's Harry Kane, and you just know he's going to score. Once again, some good teamwork from Bayern. Sané doing all the work there. Lazio defense backing off. Providel making a save, not very effectively, and Harry Kane there. Right place at the right time to sort of end matters. And yeah, not the best of save. I think Providel really has to hold his hand up for the first and third goals that Lazio have conceded tonight. And so it is effectively buonanotte e arrivederci, Lazio. It's been nice having you, but Bayern have just proved to be too strong for you tonight. 24 minutes, though. 2 goals from Lazio is what they need to send it to extra time at the very least. But barring a spectacular Bayern Munich collapse, which isn't impossible or improbable, the Bavarians should be looking forward to a spot in the quarterfinals. And some rather tired play there from Marisic, who receives that pass from Guendouzi not very strongly, conceding a throw. And it's thrown back to Neuer, who almost lets it zip past him, but recovers his composure well in time, the Bayern captain. Who was, of course, the Germany captain until fairly recently. That horrific broken leg he suffered very nearly threatened to derail his season, but he's recovered. He's back. And of course, it was Jan Sommer, the now Inter Milan goalkeeper, who deputized for him for a full season. Then he joined Inter Milan, and it was Sven Ulrich who was performing goalkeeping duties. Guerrero sending it forward, but that should go out of play. And for what it's worth, as far as Bayern are concerned, it's a throw-in and not a goal kick. So Kane and company still up there. And Kane proving that he is still very much able. And some strapping around Immobile's knee. Doesn't look good, and Lazio could face the prospect of losing him, really, for the remainder of their season. Or thereabouts. Narisic with the throw. And once again, it's back with Bayern, who have been relentless in their play today, it has to be said. Sané. Sending it forward, but ends up retrieving the ball from the substitute, the number 18, Isaacson. It is eventually back with Matthias de Ligt. Trying to find Kimmich, but Pellegrini's now hot on his tails. And the referee playing an advantage because Pellegrini, I believe, did pull his shirt. And Lazio win the ball back. Pellegrini riding a challenge really well, finding Felipe Anderson, but Sané running back to pick Felipe Anderson's pocket. Kimmich now coming all the way back. Or I should say coming right back to the right back position. Just over 20 minutes to go. Bayern with 1 foot in the quarterfinals. Unless something cataclysmic happens, that is the way it will stand. And Paris Saint-Germain also will be joining them. Currently 2-0 up against Real Sociedad in San Sebastian. Kylian Mbappe with both goals. The first one on the 15th minute and the second one a few minutes before the hour mark. And now with 20 minutes to go, does Tuchel make any substitutions? It will remain to be seen. De Ligt. Sané. Goretzka. Pavlovic. Guerrero. Musiala. Some interplay there between Pavlovic and Musiala. Pavlovic now to De Ligt, who's been more involved in the second half. Probably more than Eric Dyer. And of course, it was that brilliant volley which led to Bayern Munich's second goal on the stroke of half-time. And Bayern being forced back, playing dangerously, but eventually they clear their lines and can now move forward. Musiala hoping to find Muller. And Muller absolutely mullered that. But sadly, it was off the post. Because I'm pretty certain that as good a goalkeeper as Provedel may be, his left hand was not strong enough to keep that out. But did he palm that onto the post? The Lazio goalkeeper. For the moment, though, Leroy Sané! Brilliant strike, but just not quite hitting the target. Bayern are running rampant. And that definitely wasn't too far away, mind you. We're going to take a look at this move, which came really from nothing, almost. I wonder if Muller was onside. The Lazio defense probably playing him on. Muller, who Mullers it. Does he score? Well, it looks as though Provedel might have touched that onto the post, so a pretty good save from the Lazio goalkeeper. Doesn't make up for the 2 errors he committed for the first and third goals, really. Felipe Anderson into the penalty area. Luis Alberto! Blocked behind for a corner. And Lazio are coming back strong now. And it was Pavlovic who got that touch. I'm pretty certain that Neuer would have had it covered, but Pavlovic pretty much helping out his defender. And so Lazio get a corner. I think it's their first of the night. And it is Luis Alberto to take it, swinging in. Headed out. But back with Luis Alberto. who obviously had Muller on his tail, but he pretty much got the better of him. And Providel comes almost to the halfway line to send that ball forward, hoping to find Luis Alberto, which he does. And a cheeky little pass back to Felipe Anderson, despite Muller's best intentions. It's all hands to the pump now for Bayern. They cannot afford to take anything for granted. Cataldi, Maricic, Guendouzi now on the right, who can send it into the penalty area. But I believe Castellanos was trying to get that, but wasn't in the right place. Manuel Neuer was, and he gobbled that up. And Bayern Munich now down the left. I believe that's Guerrero being forced to pass it back. It is with De Ligt now. He finds Sané, Pavlovic, Goretzka. That is Guerrero now, who hasn't gone forward yet. Now it looks as though Lazio are getting ready to make another substitution. The number 9, Pedro, who could be coming on maybe to add some firepower into the attack. But at the moment, Bayern will have to clear their lines and prevent a Lazio attack. And once the ball goes out of play, the substitution can be made. Musiala shaking off his attacker brilliantly. The referee waving play on for the advantage. Harry Kane in the penalty area. And this time around, Kane was not able. His left foot certainly is not his right foot. And you can see why. Well, I mean, obviously they're showing highlights of the goal. It was a left-footed tap in there, but he did, of course, have a shot on goal, a chance to shoot at goal with his left foot, and he ended up skying it over. And the substitution has been made. Felipe Anderson, the number 7, has come off, and Pedro has come on. And I believe Pedro's first touch was to pass it back to his goalkeeper, Providel. So, looks as though Lazio might have brought on another striker to go all out on the attack. Or is it just a case of damage limitation? We'll have to see. Lazio attacking. I believe that is Isaacson, one of the substitutes, who's brought down. And that will be a Lazio free kick. Leon Goretzka, the guilty party, as we have about 14 and a half minutes to go. There will be some considerable stoppage minutes added on, but unless we see anything cataclysmic happening, as I've said, I really do not see anything happening to change the result. And now it's time for Alphonso Davies to come on, along with Mathis Tell. But I believe the substitution will probably be made after the free kick. It is Klaassen and Cataldi standing over that free kick. Cataldi, of course, the skipper. It is Cataldi who takes it into the penalty area. Headed away, and I believe the referee has blown the whistle for a foul in the penalty area. And now Bayern can make their double substitution. Mathis Tell and Alphonso Davies set to come on. No need for Min Jae Kim as of yet. Well, they haven't made the substitution yet, so play continues. It is Guerrero who's back in defense. Eric Dyer, Neuer, and hoping to find Kimmich, who keeps the ball in play, but, well, with a sequence of play like that, not really controlling the ball well, but somehow winning a throw off a Lazio play, you just have to sense that it is your night tonight. And now I believe it's time for the substitution, I'd like to think. Yep. So Guerrero, who's had a fine game on the left wing as the left wing back, as it were, will be coming off to be replaced by Alphonso Davies, the Canadian superstar. Good to see you, Alfonso. Let's see how well you play, eh? I can't do a Canadian accent to save my life. And Matthews Tell will be coming on for Thomas Muller. So it looks as though it could be a more defensive formation, maybe a lone striker. Tuchel looking to tighten things up. And once again, no need for Min Jae Kim, although he could end up replacing either De Ligt or Dyer for the final few minutes. Luis Alberto with the free kick into the penalty area, but that'll be a goal kick. It is a corner, actually, from the looks of it. And Muller giving the thumbs up. The Bundesliga season might not be going as expected, but the Champions League dream is still alive. Cataldi now with the corner. Right-footed, hoping to swing it away. Headed away by Bayern Munich, but only as far as Luis Alberto. And Pellegrini sending it in. Or should I say sending it high and out? And coming into the last 10 minutes, it's another Lazio substitution, the final one of tonight. That is Luis Alberto's last involvement of the night, and he is being replaced by the Japanese international, the elegantly named Daichi Kamada. And it could very well be damage limitation because Luis Alberto has been the creative hub tonight. I think it is fair to say that the way Bayern are playing, the way they've been ruthless tonight, they just haven't given Lazio too many chances, and Neuer has not had a single save to make. A booking there for Romagnoli, rising above Harry Kane. And I'll tell you what, we've seen similar challenges go unpunished, but I think that's why. An arm into the back of the neck, and I'm sorry, but you cannot do that. And we have now ticked on to 80 minutes, 10 minutes left plus stoppages. It is now Bayern Munich 3, Lazio 0, 3-1 on aggregate, and the Germans are looking forward to a quarterfinal date. We will find out with whom they are playing in due course. Kimmich over there overrunning himself. Pellegrini winning a throw off Harry Kane. Any updates from San Sebastian? Nope, still as it were. And in fact, it was Kang-in Lee who provided the assist, the substitute for Mbappe's second goal. So an inspired substitution, that from Luis Enrique. Maricic trying to send it forward. Isaacson trying to help him. It is back with Guendouzi now. But he's being forced back and back and back and back and is forced to pass back to Provedel. Romagnoli. Kamada coming back and passing that back. It is with Gila, the central defender. Passing it forward to Maricic, the right back, who has had a good game tonight, but he's had his pocket picked now by Jamal Musiala. Maricic has certainly been instrumental in trying to prevent Guerrero from having too much of an impact, but couldn't really do very much about Bayern Munich's 3 goals. But there is a rather nervy piece of play there in the Bayern half. It is now with Alphonso Davies, who can start to take it clear. It is with Musiala now. Received that pass from Davies. Passes it to Harry Kane. Kimmich in the penalty area. Chipped further, and he needed a bit more power on that. That was easily headed away. I think it's fair to say that Kimmich's legs are tiring a little bit. Pedro now being attacked by Sané and ends up winning a goal kick off Sané. So some good work there from the substitute. And you can see that Tuchel is still a bit frustrated, understandably so, because he knows that his team simply cannot afford to relax at any given time. And I am going to sort of fill you in on what we've got coming up tomorrow in the Champions League, all with some really good fixtures. I can tell you, in fact, that Manchester City and Real Madrid will be playing tomorrow. Real Madrid, of course, playing at the Bernabeu, having secured a 1-0 win at the Red Bull Leipzig Stadium. And Manchester City, fresh from a 3-1 away win at Copenhagen, will be defending that lead at the Etihad. And if Hanno approves, if he decides, you can catch me providing coverage of one of those matches on the Coach's Corner tomorrow. Of course, that will be his decision. And if you are subscribed to the channel, you will be informed. Davies at the moment trying to make a nuisance of himself, and the Lazio defence holding firm. The scarves are being waved. There are smiles all around. And I think they know that given how relentlessly they've played tonight, especially with Upamecano suspended and others unavailable, not even they can muck it up from here. Dyer to De Ligt. Kimmich available in space, but probably being forced back by Pedro. And a pass back from De Ligt to Neuer. Calming everything down. Eric Dyer, who's actually been on his game tonight. Not looked so dire tonight. Musiala. Tell. And you just know that Bayern will tell it like it is. Yeah, dreadful. Dyer. De Ligt sending it forward. It is with Pedro now, though, but some important play there from Pavlovic, and it's a Lazio throw. Certainly, Bayern Munich's fans will tell it like it is and say that their season has not been good and that they'll be glad to see the back of Tuchel. The only question is, who could possibly replace him? Certainly not a return for Hansi Flick. But stranger things have happened. Isaacson now to Guendouzi. Marisic has run up. And he wins the throw off Davies. Davies slotting in at left back. And Tell now in action on the left wing. 5 minutes to go, plus stoppages. Still Bayern Munich 3, Lazio 0. 3-1 on aggregate to the Germans. And still no change in the score from San Sebastian. It is still, for the moment, Real Sociedad 0, Paris Saint-Germain 2, 0-4 on aggregate, and the Frenchmen are also definitely through. I think Real Sociedad just look a little bit toothless tonight. A lot of injuries have taken their toll, really. Guendouzi wins the throw off Musiala. And Lazio obviously going to try and attack and maybe get a goal in these last few minutes that could make the game interesting. Kamada. Pellegrini. Pedro. Up against Sané and Kimmich. Ends up passing it to Romagnoli. Kamada. Cataldi. Romagnoli. Pellegrini. Back to Romagnoli from Pedro. Back with Cataldi. And Kamada forced down. Ends up passing it all the way back. And Gila retrieves that. A pretty needless foul that by Mathis Tell. And the referee will probably tell him to calm down, son. And we've got some signal issues. I think it might be raining. I'm not too sure. But now they've cleared. And once again, Lazio in the penalty area. But the Bayern Munich defense holds firm. And now Tuchel knows what to do. Do not play Dayot Upamecano in the center of defense again from now until the end of the season. Bayern trying to go forward, but having their pockets picked. And the referee waving the advantage after Kamada had his shirt pulled. Guendouzi sending Marisic forward. Marisic against Davies. Davies forces him back, but Guendouzi is still there to back him up and pick up that loose ball. Kamada. And actually, that is Isaacson who's up front. Maricic came in to support. Guendouzi against Kane, Spurs against Arsenal, and Spurs wins this battle. A sign of things to come later on in the season. Hopefully not. And a foul on Kane, and that will be a booking for the stand-in Lazio captain, Danilo Cataldi. Yeah, needless challenge there, really. Well, the stand-in captain there getting a booking, not really helping his team as we're into the last 80 seconds, I should say, not 90. And unless something really cataclysmic happens, Bayern are through. And we have another substitution, Leroy Sané off, and the number 27, Konrad Laimer, comes on for a little taste of the action. And he will have about 60 seconds, plus stoppages, to try and prove himself or just enjoy himself. One player who's certainly proven himself is Pavlovic tonight. A good game in the heart of that Bayern Munich midfield. And once again, Lazio trying to rise above the attackers and conceding some needless fouls, it must be said. And we now see the former Arsenal starlet, Serge Gnabry, coming on to replace Jamal Musiala. And we are getting into stoppage time, and we will find out how many minutes are going to be added. Another good game from the Bayern Munich youngster. And surprisingly, there are only 3 minutes being added. I would have thought that the Immobile injury would have dictated that more time be added on, but clearly the officials see otherwise. And once again, Bayern on the attack, but Pellegrini wins a goal kick. And it's now been increased to 4 from the looks of it. Or maybe it said 4 and the graphics people mucked up there. But I'm going to check and see how many minutes have been added to the game in San Sebastian. And believe it or not, they are still playing, and it's in the 88th minute with the time having not been added on. So as soon as this game gets over, time permitting, we will head to San Sebastian for the conclusion of that game. But I can also tell you there have been no changes to the score line at San Sebastian. It is still Real Sociedad 0, Paris Saint-Germain 2, Kylian Mbappe with a brace. And that should be enough to send the Parisians through to the quarterfinals. De Ligt to Dyer, to Davies, to Gnabry, the number 7. And you really will have to say that it's all over now, because there's no way that Lazio will be able to score 2 goals in the remaining 2 minutes of time we have. So it's time for me to prepare another banner. Now, I can tell you that Bayern are still on the attack. But, of course, it's been forced back, really. And with the best part of 80 seconds to go until the game is over, I really can't see a change in the scoreline. Kimmich now passing it back to Bayern, who are now playing in a more relaxed mode. Alphonso Davies receiving that from Eric Dyer. Of course, back at Tottenham, he would have been playing with Ben Davies, so it's a bit of a level up, really. Playing with a Canadian superstar who was one of his country's standouts at the World Cup in Qatar. But I mean, Ben Davies is a Welsh international himself, and I'm pretty certain he was also a part of the Welsh squad in that tournament. Dyer, Pavlovic, Goretzka, back to Dyer. And 30 seconds left. It really should be all over, bar the shouting. Davies. Dyer. And 15 seconds to go. Pretty much keep ball football. A risky looking pass there from Neuer, but Tati wasn't able to get on the end of that. Castellanos. Kimmich now, who can try and send it forward. It is Konrad Lehmer, but no touch from Lehmer. The referee has, in fact, blown his whistle. And here is the banner already. Bayern Munich beat SS Lazio 3-1 on aggregate, 3-0 on the night, and they qualify for the UCL quarterfinals in what will certainly be Thomas Tuchel's final season as Bayern Munich manager. Now, I am going to move away from the Allianz Arena over to San Sebastian because I'm going to bring you the last 2 minutes. And it looks as though Real Sociedad have, in fact, pulled back a goal, and we will probably see the highlights of that. It will be really nothing more than a consolation, and we will find out who scored that goal. But ironically, you know, the commentary from BBC was that you could stay all night and they wouldn't score. But Mikel Mourinho says, don't know about that. But Paris Saint-Germain could wrap this up. And, well, the number 17 for Paris Saint-Germain had a gilt-edged opportunity. Some great work there by Kylian Mbappe down the left. Cheeky little pass there. And it was the number 17, Vitinha, who had a chance to slot it past Alex Mourinho in goal. But he just couldn't do it. And does Mbappe keep it in play? No, he doesn't. That is a goal kick. And a little bit of argy-bargy there between him and Traore. And clearly some tempers are fraying near the end of the game. It's a bit of a shame, really. And Mbappe is, without any doubt, a generational talent. But as people have discovered, his attitude is not really of the best. Last 30 seconds at San Sebastian. Still Real Sociedad. And I actually do have to update the score for you right now. I will do that. I do apologize. Yep, just in time for the last few seconds, but it really won't be long now. The fans are still waving their scarves, and it is, in fact, over. So I will, in fact, change this banner for you right now. Full time at the San Sebastian Stadium, home of Real Sociedad. It is Real Sociedad 1, Paris Saint-Germain 2, 1-4 on aggregate. Kylian Mbappe with a brace to send them through. Mikel Mourinho with a consolation near the end of the game, but really a consolation was all it was. And did we see Kieran Tierney make an appearance? No, we didn't. Javi Callan played the whole game. So Kieran Tierney's Champions League adventure ends with defeat in the round of 16. But as far as Paris Saint-Germain are concerned, they have won their tie quite convincingly, it has to be said. The tie was already over when Mbappe got his second of the night. And this is how it ends. Paris Saint-Germain beating Real Sociedad 4-1 on aggregate, qualifying for the quarterfinals. And obviously, they will be back with a half an hour of the studio show, but I'm not really interested in that. Obviously, the big story tonight was, of course, the subject of the watch-along. Bayern Munich recovering from a chastening loss in Rome to overcome their Italian opponents. And it has to be said that tactically, Tuchel was spot on tonight with the lineup and the transition from a 4-2-3-1 to more of a back three, with Goretzka providing some good work so that Pavlovic and company could do their thing. Shout out to Bayern Munich's number 45, who I thought had a brilliant game. Alexander Pavlovic, that is. Certainly kept things ticking over in the midfield and allowing the other players to do their thing. Goretzka also had a good game. Guerrero did some good work down the left, and Marisic pretty much, stopped him from having too much of a say. But with the way Bayern were playing so relentlessly, it was really only a matter of time before they scored. And of course, when Thomas Muller got that headed goal on the stroke of half-time, in stoppage time at the end of that half, you could just tell that Bayern were in the ascendancy, and Lazio just looked a little bit toothless, really. I mean, Felipe Anderson, Luis Alberto and company did try their best, but they just weren't able to have any real influence in the middle of the park. And Pavlovic and company really did a good job. Goretzka coming back to help out in defense really was a key point, because it allowed Kimmich and Guerrero to bomb forward. And Kane and Muller effectively ended up playing as two strikers with Pavlovic, Musiala, and Leroy Sané, of course. We cannot forget him and the work he did tonight. Another stormer from the German international himself. And Bayern Munich are through. Now, of course, given that Bayern Munich have not had the best of seasons in the Bundesliga, it will remain to be seen how well they do in this Champions League and how far they will exactly go. But they will be looking forward to the quarterfinals with a little bit of confidence, given how well they played tonight. And they will have to make a few changes. One of them, of course, will be to never play Dayot Upamecano in the back ever again. And they didn't need Min Jae Kim tonight. Eric Dyer had a surprisingly good game, and Harry Kane proved that he was available. Bayern has their goal machine, and he has been a machine this season. And with Neuer also picking up from where he left off before that horrific leg injury, it's falling back into place. Too late to save their Bundesliga season, but they still could make a march in the Champions League. Paris Saint-Germain certainly look relentless and certainly look like they're going well through. But we all know that when it comes to bigger opposition, they can choke. And let's not forget, Newcastle United literally did them dirty at St. James's Park earlier on this season. They looked absolutely terrible, and somehow they found a way to recover. So that's one Champions League tie done, another one also done. We've got two more coming up tonight. Tomorrow night, I should say, 4 more next week. And it, of course, will be up to Hanno to decide if we do a watch-along for either Real Madrid or Manchester City. I would personally prefer doing the Real Madrid one. I do not like Manchester City, but it will be up to him to decide. And if he decides that we do it, we will do it, and you will be informed. And you know the venue right here on the Coach's Corner. And, of course, there will be some Premiership action coming up. It'll remain to be seen if we do some watch-alongs. And we could be doing another cricket show very soon, providing some analysis of the test between India and England in Dharamshala. And these are some more highlights coming up. And you will be in my company throughout this period. Until then, thanks a lot to everyone in the chat who joined in. Spencer Stewart, BX Gunner, Mr. Beehive of Football, Chelsea fan for a very brief few minutes. And all of you have made this stream very enjoyable. And until I see you next time, do take care of yourselves. Stay safe, stay happy. As always, don't do anything that I wouldn't do. But for now, as always, it is farewell to thee, goodbye, and God bless to all of you. Cheers.